back after a long hiatus from the shop. We did almost a complete first floor renovation in our home. There's a separate video for that if you're interested in that kind of thing. I finally figured out what was wrong, why I couldn't get this new AOD installed. I'm gonna show you why. Here's my new flywheel. It did come with the transmission that I bought. Problem I was having, the bolts for the old flywheel, I don't have it, I got rid of it. They lined up perfectly, no problem. 164 tooth ring gear. The starter hit it, seemingly did fine. I didn't have any lip here to actually fit inside the crank, and none of these studs would come through. They were sitting, kind of barely flush like that. I realized I had recesses here that were just wrong. This was not the right flywheel. I've got this flywheel. It will fit, it will go. I'm able to mount the studs of the torque converter in, and then the rest of the thing should slide in quite well. Ever the carpenter, I've got my little pry bar stuck in a tooth, wedged in there with my other handle, and now I can get my torque wrench here, and it should keep the flywheel from turning, or the engine from turning, so I can put 80 pounds of torque on this. All right, that's good. There it goes. All right. Okay, it's good to be back in the shop. I'm glad to get that flywheel on there. I'm glad to get the just transmission placed. I've got to have some help doing that. I've done it alone. I can get it up on the jack, but I don't want to get all that set up and I don't have help to actually put it in place. But I know it's going to go in this time. I'll get it mounted. And then I've got a pretty important part that has to be worked on next. I'll show you that right now. This is my Ford factory cross member. The old FMX just sat right there with a bolt through it. Well, this is the base plate, if you will, for the FMX. And so there's some modification that's gonna have to take place here. But what I wanna do is get the transmission in place and then get this cross member put in place. I've got to get it lined up in there level to figure out what I need to do. And if you are wondering, man, where have you been? I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I posted a truck video. But take a look at our house repair video. I mean, our house restoration, or whatever you want to call it. That was a lot of work, and it took a long time, but we knocked it out. Living in the basement while we worked upstairs. That took a lot. But the wife's happy, I'm happy. It looks so good, so much better. It was past time. So the shop and the truck had to be neglected, but I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish up there. So the bell housing on my FMX was narrower than the one on the AOD. So I've got to get a longer bolt. Got about 5 or 6 of them, I think. I got to go find some of these. All right, Colton's down here helping me, and I was able to get it lined up. Now I don't quite have the bell housing pushed up, so I'm afraid I'm messing up here. But I am able to get the bolts on the studs to the torque converter. Got 3 of them on, got a 4th one I'm just afraid that bell housing, I'm afraid the torque converter has the seat further in. That's disappointing. Okay. Anybody else feel like this is sketchy? Or is this pretty common? It feels real good and balanced. Right there. I got a little safety wire. It don't look like much, but I've done it before. It works pretty good. I just gotta get a little higher and I can start moving it forward. So here's what I'm doing now. Got my transmission in place. I put this cross member back in. And I've got my transmission jacked up to where it is level. I don't know if you can see that, but it's level. So the pan is level with the ground, or just level. So next what I have to do is take this cross member and get it in place. Got it? And this piece here, this rubber, here you go. It needs to be cleaned up, but it sits here. And these two smaller bolts, I mean the more narrow ones, will fit through this cross member, which there are no holes, but I mean I can do that. But as you can see, at level, the transmission base is only about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. Okay, so here's the deal. I have to reduce either this or this, or the combination of both of them, by 1.5 inches. Like that, the way it goes, that's 1.5 inches too high. All right, here's the finished product. It's not showroom quality, but it took it down at least 1 inch. I wanted about 1.5 inches. I'm gonna see if this is enough. Put it up under here. Mounting rubber plate is now in on my custom piece, as you can see. I'll get some bolts through there, and I'll get a nut or two to go on the bottom here. That should be good right there. Looks like I got a little bit of clearance up in there. I don't see a reason why this won't work. Let's see if I can get it mounted now. All right, transmission's all mounted. Next up, my LOKAR kick down cable. I have one for the FMX. It's gotta come off. Got the instructions here. Real man don't need instructions. Yeah, who am I kidding? We're gonna do this right. Absolutely, need some instructions. All right, there it is. I'm gonna start by replacing this part up here before I go down to the bottom. This little nut comes off the back here. Okay, truth be known, I really haven't needed the instructions. No kidding. Took this off, which I'll be honest with you, I do believe this piece would have popped off the old one. I could have used it on with the new one, but nevertheless, it's on there now. All this came off, replaced with a new one. I didn't have to take any of the wire out like I did the other one, so anyway, maybe if I'd read the instructions, but I didn't. So that's new, that's new. Rest of it goes down below. All right, I've got this 9/16 slip nut off. If you can see in here, this is slotted, so it will only go on here one way. And then the little slip nut goes back in there. I'll get this kind of hand tight. That's good enough. Still got its spring action. I'm gonna take this pan bolt out and put it straight back up in there. All right, installed and installed right there. Now, put in my speedo cable. Oh, that fit nice. Let's hope it's geared right. I know I complain about this all the time, but it's hard to see, hold a camera, and see what you're doing. Am I proving myself right? That's good enough. All right, that's done. I'm gonna continue reading in my instructions because I'm pretty sure I've got a lot of excess right here. It's got spring on it. I'm thinking we're gonna have to do something with that. But I'm gonna read this stuff first to make sure I'm doing it just right, because I know for a fact we've got to use these tools here. This little pressure gauge. Okay, let me update you. I had the cable on here. I took it off and I put it on the second bolt back from the lever. 1, 2. You probably can't see this, but I did use the spacer and a lock washer and the 1/2-inch nut. I pulled the cable back from the engine, pulled this back so it's sitting here like this. Hold it in tight when you screw that down so it doesn't twist, and therefore you keep your spring straight. That's how that's supposed to work. So this part down here should be done. So now I have, you know, lots of extra cable here. I'm not worried about that, I can cut that off. Now the next thing that we'll do is I'm gonna take this little cable stop, I'm gonna loosen it, I'm gonna bring it back to here. Now here's the first trick. Just leaving this loose. What I'm gonna do is just pull this cable, not tight. I can pull it, it springs back. And I'm just gonna get it to where I don't have a lot of slack in it down here. Like that right there. And you'll take this little tool that comes with your LOKAR kit, slide it in place. Just sort of get the slack out of it, tighten that down. That's tightened down. Nothing's real tight here. It's just don't have a lot of slack in it. Now eventually we'll remove all this, but not yet. We'll leave this in place just like it is. And that's all we're doing inside here for now. Now it's a matter of checking our pressure with a pressure gauge down on the bottom side of the passenger side of the transmission. In the instructions here, you'll see this is the one we're looking for right there. Okay, I've run my transmission cooling line back in the back there. There's a larger fitting like this one already on the transmission. You'll see it. Let me get this tightened down and we'll go back further. So all of my lines are run, tightened down. I mounted my dipstick and I'm filling it up. I'll get 5 quarts. This is number 3. I'll get 5 quarts in here, and then starter's mounted too. I'm gonna crank it up. Got to put a battery in it. Crank it up and let this heat up just a little bit. But before I do that, I'm going to put my pressure gauge on there. I'll show you that when I get it ready. So I guess I am through for the day. I shouldn't be surprised that it's going to leak from right there, but I didn't think about that. Got about 5 quarts in, and okay, so 4 quarts still in there. This will stop here in just a minute. Well, how about that? I was already supposed to have purchased a slip yoke, and I just had not done it. I went today to try to find one. They didn't have it. I'll order one, but that's all right. That's what's next on the agenda, I guess. I didn't count on making this video like 3 videos long, so I will buy a slip yoke, get it shipped to me, put it in, and then we can continue working. Golly, but a slip yoke won't stay in unless I get a drive shaft. Stay tuned. Gonna keep going. Did make a good bit of progress today. Got all my lines run, got my dipstick put in, did get some fluid put in it. What else did I do? I'm still missing a couple of nuts for the mount for the transmission. Transmission is mounted to that rubber thing. The rubber thing sits on top of that cross member I made, and I've got a couple of nuts that goes there. I don't have, so I've got to find 2 of those. I've looked around all through the shop and I don't have anything, so I'll get that. The next time we get into this project, we will be using this oil pressure gauge. It comes with a lot of little fasteners in there. We're going to pull that one port out that I showed you in the instruction manual. I'm going to put this thing on there. When the truck is in warm idle, in neutral, we're supposed to read 35 pounds of pressure. If it doesn't, we can make some adjustments on the throttle body, kick down linkage, and make that 35 pounds of pressure on this. So stay tuned to Nail Custom Garage. Catch you on the next one.